So welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Becky Little, and I'm the Director of Product Marketing and Customer Experience here at ExpertVoice. So as you can imagine, a key part of my job is understanding our customers. So days like today are great for me to get to know not only current brands, but to hear the questions and concerns of people that we may not be working with yet either. So that's my way of saying, don't be afraid to speak up. We really want to make sure that we address any questions that are out there. It's a learning opportunity for me too. So please feel free to use the chat bar. We'll be monitoring it and answering questions in real time. So to get started, to say the last few months have disrupted the conventional ways brands build advocacy is truly an understatement. This is especially true when we're talking about physical retail. Getting retail sales associates to be confident recommenders of your product is hard when the traditional methods available to you are no longer there. This is a topic that we're talking to a lot of brands about, and why we're so excited to have a conversation with Nordic Naturals today to learn how they are managing through these challenging times. So let's do some quick introductions and then we'll jump in. Today, I'm joined by Matt Ford, who's our VP of Sales, and Lori Avant. She's the Director of Sales for Nordic Naturals. She's a veteran in the naturals industry, and she's been with Nordic Naturals for the past 7 years, helping them to build and maintain market share in retail. Welcome to you both, and thank you for joining us. To help set the stage for the conversation, Matt is going to provide us a quick overview of ExpertVoice and how we help brands drive sales.
Thanks, Becky. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
Excellent. Well, I'm happy to be giving an overview of what we do here at ExpertVoice to get things kicked off. And at the heart of what we do is help brands harness advocacy. And that means we get other people talking about your brand and products, making recommendations where it drives your business. And we know that credible advice helps consumers make better buying decisions. And if you think about your own purchase behavior and the last considered purchase that you made, whether that was a pair of running shoes, maybe a sleeping bag, or perhaps something you put in your body, like a supplement, a protein, or CBD, or omega-3s, that purchase decision was likely influenced by a recommendation in some form. So that could be advice from a knowledgeable friend and family member, counsel from a credible retail associate, a recommendation from an industry professional, or content that you found online. And over the last 16 years, ExpertVoice has built a platform and blueprint for helping brands get more of the right people speaking on their behalf, making better recommendations that lead to more full price consumer purchases. And over that period of time, we have built a community of over 50 of the best health and nutrition brands, including Nordic Naturals, alongside tens of thousands of retail experts representing the Naturals physical retail channel, plus hundreds of thousands of industry professionals, including folks like healthcare workers, nutritionists, yoga instructors, fitness trainers, and many more. And more broadly, we work across several industries with more than 600 brands and 1 million verified, knowledgeable retail sales associates and industry professionals. So ExpertVoice, the platform, helps brands find and engage the right people who influence their customers. Now, we say the word recommendations a lot, and that's because we know recommendations in all forms help a consumer make a better buying decision. And the best recommendations come from real knowledge about a product and real experience using that product, and then putting them to work where consumers go to seek advice, places like retail stores, on e-commerce sites in the form of reviews, from brand ambassadors, industry professionals, and social media. So in short, ExpertVoice is a platform that provides a brand with the right tools to find the right people, make the recommendations better, and help put them to work at pivotal points in the consumer journey. So for example, in e-commerce, currently, experts on the platform are generating more than 8,000 detailed, credible reviews per month. And we give brands the tools to curate these digital recommendations, use them on their e-commerce sites, and help increase conversions and lower returns. We also help in the field, so connecting with the industry professionals I talked about, like the instructors and the nutritionists, those people with outsized influence by virtue of what they do for a living. And we currently work with more than 3,000 professional organizations across all industries. And then, of course, in retail, a place where we know an associate that is familiar with and has tried your products is twice as likely to recommend that product to a consumer. And the recent disruption Becky mentioned has made it difficult to rely on traditional methods to educate this channel. But at ExpertVoice, over the last period of months, we've seen consistent engagement between experts on the platform and the brands they were passionate about. So to make this a little more tangible, we're excited to hear from Lori talk about her experience with ExpertVoice over the last 8 years and how that playbook has been used over the last several months to navigate the current environment. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Becky. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. All right, so let's jump in. Lori, Nordic Naturals has been a part of the naturals landscape for 25 years now, and as Matt mentioned, a partner of ExpertVoice for 8 years. I know there's some people on the call that maybe aren't as familiar with the naturals landscape, so can you just help us set the stage about the industry, how it's evolved and changed, and where Nordic fits in it?
Sure, and I just want to thank you, Becky and Matt, for having me on the call today. And I just want to say we love working with ExpertVoice and you and your team, so we're happy to be here. Well, just a little bit about Nordic Naturals for anyone who's not as familiar. We actually, 2020 marks 25 years in business for us. Our founder came here from Norway to attend grad school and ended up staying and starting the company. His goal was to bring the highest quality omega-3s and other essential nutrients to the US. And you know, it's just been an incredible ride. Like many of you on the call, we're fortunate to be a part of just the tremendous growth that we've seen in the natural products industry. And you know, there's so many different things really that go into building a successful brand. But one of the key things for us is product education, just education in general. And we have an incredible education team in-house. And our sales reps are very focused on educating as well. They always have been. And with respect to how the industry has evolved, well, just think about how many more brands have entered the space, even in just the last 5 years. There's a lot more brand noise. So, and there's always been staff turnover, you know, and even reductions in personnel with some of the retailers that we work with. And some of those things have created some challenges at times, you know, in the store for us and how we educate. And honestly, that's really where ExpertVoice comes in.
Thanks, Lori. And we love working with you too, for the record.
Thank you.
You know, many people talk about the demise of retail, and as you just said, it's a channel that you guys are invested heavily in. Can you talk about why this investment in retail training specifically is important to you?
Sure. Well, you know, we just see it as investing in the future of brick and mortar. We don't feel that brick and mortar is going away. But what we do believe, and what I do believe as well, is that one of the ways that brick and mortar is going to continue to thrive is through really differentiating themselves from online, creating an experience for the customer within the store. Staff interactions with customers, that's an important piece of that experience. Customers come into the store oftentimes, they want to speak with a staff person, they want product recommendations, they want to understand what the features and benefits are of those products. And that requires an educated staff person. So this is really and truly at the heart of, you know, why we've held firm in investing in education programs like ExpertVoice instead of pulling back.
Thanks, Lori. And for those of you, you know, Matt talked about what ExpertVoice does, and it's about allowing brands to connect with people who influence the consumer buying decision. But like, to be very specific, once brands are a part of ExpertVoice, they have the opportunity to produce lessons and to actually seed product to people so they can have that firsthand knowledge and experience with the product. Lori, Nordic was one of our first adopters to ExpertVoice, kind of paving the way in this arena. Can you tell us about your choice to invest in ExpertVoice or to continue investing in ExpertVoice and how you've built the program over time?
Yes. You know, a big part of that decision was that we really saw Expert Voice as an opportunity for us, not only to ramp up and just do more from an education standpoint, but it's really been an extension of our corporate education program. It's not a replacement, but Expert Voice really does help provide a touch point for us all year round. You know, as far as how we built the program, I think, you know, an important point here is we've really been able to get there through the help of our reps and our educators. It's not just a plug and play platform by any means. We require that they're out there helping us promote the program all of the time. We use trade shows, various events, education events to sign up retailers to talk up the program, which has certainly helped us develop it over the years. Even some of our retailers will help push the program out to their team members, so that's fantastic. And you know, we have a number of retailers that don't even have a regular representation, you know, in the store. So when we don't have reps present, at least we can know that these associates are still learning. And in fact, what we've seen is that these are some of the highest users of Expert Voice. It's been really interesting. And then Becky, one final point here. You know, we really brag about the results of Expert Voice with our retailers. We see it as part of our trade spend. It demonstrates, we believe, how our brand is supporting that retailer. It goes to the partnership, and it's also one of the ways that we can commit truly to help successful sell-through of our products.
And do retailers respond positively when you share that information with them?
They love it. They get very excited, and they're more willing to help us push that out to the teams.
And your investment in this program is clearly paying off. The numbers here kind of speak for themselves, that you've seen tremendous growth in your program year over year. These are numbers of experts engaging inside of Expert Voice. Can you talk about how this actually has helped you scale your reach at retail?
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing to see how much more engagement we've gotten year after year. It's actually very exciting. You know, I think a big factor here for us is the convenience that Expert Voice allows. So, you know, honestly, I feel like one of the reasons we've grown the program this much is that, and you all have been a big part of this in the way that you've evolved and developed the platform, but we're just able to reach people when and where they want to be reached. And that is more and more crucial to the way we conduct business. And without taking up too much of their time, you know, Expert Voice really allows Nordic to amplify and magnify the voices of our 100+ reps out there and our educators. And we all know reps can't be everywhere at once. So as a digital platform, Expert Voice is always available. You know, these team members can access it through their phones, their tablets, their laptops. Another point, we typically will coordinate our trainings throughout the year with various promotions, product launches. This way we can ensure that our teams are learning and sampling in sync with what we're focused on as a brand, and I think they appreciate that as well. We share the data on engagement also with our reps and our educators, and then they can remind staff as needed about the program, and that really helps drive engagement with our brand.
And I think when we were talking earlier that, to your point about aligning with what's happening as a company, that you publish content to the audience inside of Expert Voice on a quarterly basis.
That's right.
And your reps have seen it as a tool that really helps them to accomplish their job versus as a replacement. Was that a hard thing to overcome?
You know, it never was. The reps were always excited about it because they understand they can't be everywhere at one time. They love promoting the program out there, and, you know, just letting these store teams know here's another avenue for you to get trained. Because let's face it, sometimes they go into the stores are super busy, and they don't always get that time that they thought they were going to get, you know, when they walked in the door. So this has just been a great way to reinforce education.
Right. Or you run into a world pandemic and they can't go into the store at all.
Exactly.
So we are looking at your numbers over time. You guys have seeded product to 14,000 plus people That's a huge investment in giving away a free product. Why is that such an important part of your strategy?
Yeah, it really is a big investment, especially, if you look at the spend over the course of the 8 years that we've been here. But, seeding product is one way that we feel we can build brand awareness. We know firsthand, and you've already stated the stats here, that product use results in dedicated brand ambassadors. When an associate's recommending a product, I think it's far more meaningful if they've tried it and they can speak to their own personal experience. Here's a great example for you. How many times have you gone into a restaurant and you get the menu and the server's either new or untrained? You're asking questions about what's on the menu and they can't answer. And so you just have to kind of figure it out for yourself, versus contrast that with that experience where you go into a restaurant and the server knows that menu inside and out. They know every single entree. They've tried everything. They can talk to you about the ingredients. That's a whole nother experience. And I really feel like that's what we're doing here. We're training these, associates to, be ready to talk about anything that they need to in the moment. And it's also just important for us finally here to say thank you. We feel it's important to say thank you for learning about our product and giving them a sample to try.
Well, as a fellow foodie, I absolutely understand your analogy and appreciate it. One of the unique things that happens inside the ExpertVoice platform is that experts have the ability to share their experience beyond just the word of mouth that we know is happening at retail and throughout their everyday life. They have the ability to express themselves in the form of digital reviews and photos that they can share inside the ExpertVoice community. As a brand, have you guys benefited from these, or is there value in them for you?
There really is. I think this is one of our favorite aspects of the program, being able to log into the platform and see what the experts are saying that have taken the trainings and have used our products. I mean, who doesn't want to hear a 5-star review from one of their customers? We've even used these in sales presentations. We've put them in internal presentations that we're giving on the program. This to me is just further substantiating our return on investment on the program.
Love that. Yeah, it's for us, like it's fascinating to see the great content that the teams produce, and then there's the experts just validating all the work that you put into developing it.
Absolutely.
So you guys as a brand, I think what you've done that's really spectacular has been really investing in building your community on ExpertVoice. It's more than just about the training, education, and seeding. And we're working as a company as well to provide you even more tools to invest in your community in the very near future. Here we have just a sample of an email you sent earlier this year. And what I found really fascinating about it is there's no CTA saying, hey, go buy, go learn, go do something on our behalf. It simply ends with, thank you for your continued support and advocacy. We're here if you need us. Be well. For a brand, what does it mean to you to be able to connect with experts and communicate with them in a more meaningful way?
I really believe any opportunity to connect with these store associates is beneficial. Suddenly we're in the middle of COVID-19. We're all sheltering in place, yet we have these store associates throughout the country, these essential workers who are reporting in daily. And we, just needed this opportunity to be able to quickly reach out to them with a personal message. And you provided the platform for us to be able to do that. I mean, we have direct contacts with our buyers and our category managers, but we don't necessarily have contact with all of these, 14,000 plus staff members, that you referred to that we've trained. But this is the way we could reach out to them. And that was just a huge opportunity for us. And we were really appreciative of this aspect of the program. And we've actually used, your email campaigns more than once. So I think it's a great feature of ExpertVoice.
Super. I know that the experts really appreciated it. We keep in touch with our audience on a regular basis and gather their feedback. So they know that you care. I know we're coming up on our last slide, Matt. I'll just check in to make sure if there's any questions, or just let the audience know that we wanted to be very conscious of your time. So if there are questions that you have, please feel free to go ahead and post them, and we'll get them to them in just the next minute or two.
Yeah, no questions yet, but please use the chat if you'd like to put out a question for Lori or Becky or anyone.
I put my email address in the chat box as well. I'm happy to speak with anyone offline and answer any questions, you know, in that respect as well.
Careful what you wish for, Lori.
All right.
Thank you. All right, so 2020, in fact, I shared a meme with my staff this week that was like, I can't believe the most normal part about 2020 has been the Tiger King. So it's been a wild ride, to say the least, and a year that no one has predicted. And I'm guessing that virtually everyone on this call is trying to figure out where to invest next to keep their connections with consumers. Can you talk to us about what Nordic Naturals is thinking and doing, and how you're prioritizing your investments to manage these challenges? Oops, did I lose you, Lori?
Oh, I'm so sorry. My technology here just went a little screwy there for a second. Can you ask me that again? I apologize.
That's okay. I just said that we were talking about how 2020 has been a wild ride, and everyone's scrambling to figure out how to stay connected with their consumer base. And Nordic, you know, looks like from the numbers that you're on track to have a great year, but how are you prioritizing your investments to manage these challenges?
Well, I mean, as I said earlier, you know, education is just not something we're going to sacrifice. You know, we just feel like it's too important. And, you know, I think the one thing that ExpertVoice has really helped us manage through the pandemic is, you know, knowing that we can still train associates. And it hasn't slowed down the training. I mean, we've still seen, you know, just as many people, if not more, go through these modules, learn about our products, and stay engaged. So we really didn't know what to expect. So that's been a pleasant surprise. So that tells me that, you know, in good times and difficult times, you know, people still want to learn, and associates want to be informed. They want to be able to help their customers. So, you know, and having the ability to do this digitally, like just being able to pull out their phone and do a training, that's pretty amazing. So it's definitely, you know, something that is more crucial for us than ever before.
Super.
Becky, it looks like we've got a question from Nicholas, and it's, will you share more about online outreach? Fully understand about the brick and mortar aspect of ExpertVoice, but how online works really?
And Nicholas, are you asking about that just in general, or how it works with ExpertVoice? And I'll go ahead and answer that and type in anything else that you wanted to ask. I mean, we've primarily used it to reach our brick and mortar associates. The online aspect of it for us would just be if we wanted to share some of these reviews, or point anyone in the direction of ExpertVoice training. And with that, I would say we rely heavily on guidance from ExpertVoice in ways that we work with the program, and they may also be able to answer that question as well in terms of what other customers are doing.
For sure. I think I can give you the spin wearing my product marketing hat. Helping brands connect online is something that we're really focused on for the future. We know that it's something that happens organically. We know that when experts are engaging with a brand and having the chance to try a brand, that they're out there talking about it, not only in the digital stuff that we collect online, but in their own channels. But as we look to the future, we're helping brands to build a space where they can build their communities and manage their brand ambassador programs and be able to track performance online. So you'd be able to, you know, host a challenge to your group, or, you know, post an activity for them to partake in, and then be able to monitor that performance. Does that answer your question, Nicholas?
So as we make sure we answer her question. Another question, I'm curious about how you tie, let's see, it just moved up. I'm curious about how you tie a direct return on expert voice, or if you even can. Is it an overall lift in store sales, etc.? So I think that's
Yes.
for Lori.
That's a great question, because we're all about measuring ROI on everything that we spend money on. What we have been able to see is when we roll out a new module and we're talking about, let's say we start talking about, a brand new category of products that we've just launched. We can see at times a corresponding overall lift in store sales. It's tough to, put a specific number to that, but we will look at sales over a period of time, see where the peaks and valleys are, and oftentimes we are aligning those peaks with, when we put out key educational material.
And then to tag on to that, it's dependent by the brand too. If brands have access to their sell-through data, we have an analyst team who, as part of your Expert Voice program, is happy to do the analysis for you to show where you've had stores where experts have been engaged and what that data looks like there versus where you haven't, and be able to show that lift. And for brands we've done that for, it's been anywhere between a 10 and 30% lift.
Perfect. And one more question. Expert Voice, so I think that's for us. What is the feedback you get from in-store associates? Do they enjoy training modules? And Lori, have you been provided feedback from Expert Voice to better tailor your trainings over the years to their wants and needs?
Sure. We have some stats that show us how many associates continue to come back time and time again to learn. So I think that answers the question, are they enjoying the modules? Do they like interacting with the app? Because if not, I think some of those individuals would come on, they would start to learn. We would see that they never completed a training, or they may not come back. So the continual growth year over year, and then the repetitive, trainings that various associates do is certainly telling. We get a lot of feedback our reps do in the field. Anytime I've ever been in the field and talking with store staff, they really appreciate having this. And I'd say over the years, we haven't continually improved our trainings, over the years. I once again would say Expert Voice has been really helpful with us too, as things have evolved, and we don't do things exactly the same way we did 8 years ago by any means, but in helping us understand more through all of the other accounts that they're working with outside of just Nordic Naturals and the natural products industry, to help us understand more about what do these associates want to see, what's the best way to train them, how's the best way to present the content. And that's been super helpful, and we feel it's been successful, which is what the chart showed on the growth trajectory that we continue to have with the program.
Thanks, Lori. And one of the options available to brands is that they can run insights campaigns inside of Expert Voice. And by what I mean by that is that they have the ability to run surveys to an audience of their choosing. So sometimes they may have a survey within an actual module they serve up. They may choose to poll experts pre and post content. They may run simple NPS campaigns, or it may be a more custom event to ask for some tailored feedback. In addition, annually as a company, we poll our experts to ask them what's working, what's not, what do they enjoy, what do they want to hear more of, so that we can recognize trends across our audience to be able to put that into our best practices as we develop content each year. You bet, great questions.
Yes.
All right, we'll do a last call for questions. Oh, you mentioned earlier about expert putting online reviews, etc. How does that work? They put reviews on online reseller stores, or just reviews that we then take and post on our websites? There's actually two parts to that question. One is that yes, people can put their reviews directly into their own e-commerce channels. So inside the tools a brand has inside of Expert Voice is a platform called the Advocacy Platform. They can actually go through and curate the recommendations that they think will be most impactful. We all know reviews are important. And if you're a brand that's fortunate to have hundreds and hundreds of reviews, what's most important is to give the consumer the one that's going to impact them the most. The solution that we've developed allows you to take the expert reviews and surface them as such with a little bit of information about who the expert is, their area of expertise, how many years they've been an expert, their bio picture if they allow it, and then be able to surface those above your consumer reviews or wherever the appropriate place is on your website. The second part of that is that we're right in the middle of helping you be able to put those out to any other third party that you might syndicate your reviews through. We're starting with ExpertVoice. That's work that's underway right now. And then we'll quickly expand to others once we dial that in. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Lori, thank you so much for your time and sharing your experiences and your background and being a willing guinea pig to answer all the questions for us.
Thank you so much. I can't say enough great things about ExpertVoice. We have been so appreciative of the partnership and highly recommend it. And as I said, if anyone wants to shoot me an email to ask about anything else, feel free.
Super. And we'll be sending out a copy of the webinar for anyone who wasn't able to catch bits and pieces of it, or if there's anyone else you'd like to share it with. And hopefully we provided you some nuggets about how you can stay connected during these challenging times, to stay front of mind, tip of tongue with your retail sales associates and others that are important influencers in your community.